I was supposed to have started a bunch of vegetable seeds like 2 weeks ago. Let's go ahead and get started. Well, I was supposed to have started a bunch of vegetable seeds like 2 weeks ago, but I was in the hospital and that didn't happen. And now I've been putting it off because it's been kind of cloudy and gloomy out. But it's a beautiful day today, so I can do it outside instead of messing with dirt inside. So I probably ought to get off my boo-hiney and get to that. But first, I gotta find all my stuff because this is still a wreck from last year. Okay, I have all my containers, as you saw. I don't sanitize them from year to year. Haven't had an issue with it thus far. Hopefully I won't. But yeah, so I have all my containers. I have some seed starting mix. Found I had an unopened bag in the garage, so that's handy. From last year, I just use the Burpee Organics usually because it's what I can find. I did get a couple of these this year. It's been opened, son. It's basically just a really compacted, but it's the same seed starting mix. It's just been pressed down into this tiny little brick, and then you just add water to fluff it up again. And it's actually a little bit cheaper, I think, than the bag, so that's an option as well. And of course, all of my seeds. I have these ones that I ordered from Baker's Creek this year that have not been put in my organizer yet, and then I have my entire seed catalog there that I keep from year to year. So let's go ahead and get started first by getting our soil, our seed starting mix, into a bucket and getting it moist. This stuff takes a lot of water. Really, when you spray it, it just gets the top wet, so you gotta mix it in. You don't want it sopping wet, but you do want it to kind of hold together a little bit. And this bucket does have holes in the bottom, so if I get too much water, it'll drain out. That's helpful. There you go. That looks good. Kind of hold this shape and squeeze a little bit of water out of it, but not too much. Okay. I forgot to go check my garden plan to see how many plants I needed of each variety. So I know I wanted about the same as last year. So what I did is I just came through here, and all these cups that I planted my tomatoes and peppers in last year, I'm just going to reuse them. That way I know I have the same amount. So first, get some of our seeds out here. Some of these have leaked everywhere. That's lovely. Should have taped those. Some of these I have saved from last year or the year before. And some of them are purchased. I often put 2 seeds per pod just to make sure that they germinate. And then if they both do, well, then I have extra.
What seeds are we starting?
We're going to do serrano. Yep, those ones. So I'm going to fill it about half full, kind of pack it in a little bit. And then top it off with light fluffiness. Okay. And then we're just gonna put a couple seeds in it. The downside with starting in these big cups instead of the little cell packs is that they use a whole lot more soil of the starting mix. The benefit though is that you don't have to pot them up in a couple weeks when they outgrow the cell blocks. So pros and cons to doing it both ways. Good rule of thumb for seeds is to plant them about as deep as they are long. So pepper seeds, I don't know if you can even see that. They're super, super tiny, so you just barely cover them. Okay, so we got our serranos. Now we're gonna follow the same thing for all of the rest of them. that's it for the peppers. I usually like to plant my peppers earlier even than is recommended, simply because I've had years in the past where the plant grew really well and it put on fruit really well, but it didn't have time for that fruit to get ripe before the cold weather came in. So I usually like to start those pretty early, but we're still within the planting window, so we're good. Tomatoes also, we're still within the planting window, but I usually would do them just a little bit earlier, simply so I can get tomatoes a little bit earlier. But yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and start my tomatoes, and I may start a few herbs, and then we'll be done for the day. Okay, here we have it. All the seeds we planted today. We did all of the peppers for the year, all the tomatoes for the year, and some herbs. I think I did a couple of kinds of basil, marjoram, and fennel. Now, plants do not need, most seeds do not need light at this point. They're under the dirt unless they're surface sown, which some surface sown seeds do need light to germinate. So I will actually be turning these off until they sprout. You know, once the leaves come up, then they need the light for photosynthesis. But until then, they don't need the light. What they do need, however, is heat. I have a couple of heat mats. This one's a pretty small one, a windowsill kind of size. This is what I started with back at the old house. And then I did upgrade to a larger one last year as well. And honestly, I probably need another one beyond that. This one here, this one's a bit bigger. It can fit underneath one of these trays, but as you can see, I have 3 trays. So, probably ought to buy another one of these. So I will get these heat mats under them to keep them warm so that they can germinate. And then once they do, and I start seeing green leaves, then we'll get our lights adjusted for them to start photosynthesis. Hey guys, I'm just sitting here editing and I realized that I forgot to mention when you start your seeds, they need warmth. They also need moisture. So you can get a lot of cell packs and even trays now with like a greenhouse cover where it's just like a plastic lid you can put on top, and that will keep the heat and humidity inside until your seeds germinate, and then you can take it off. You can also, a cheaper route, you could just use plastic wrap and just cover them with plastic wrap until they germinated and then take the plastic wrap off. I don't really keep plastic wrap on hand, so I just completely skipped it this year, which is fine. It's not completely necessary. It just makes things easier. So if you're not going to have that plastic cover to keep the moisture in, you just got to make sure that you're keeping the surface of your soil moist until those seeds have a chance to germinate. Hello there. So here we are a week after I planted these guys, and I'll be honest, I got caught up with all of the goat drama going on in the backyard that I put these down here, put the heat mats on them, ordered new heat mats, put them down here, and then completely forgot to come check on these guys. If there's not an alarm on my phone telling me to do something, it gets forgotten completely. So last night was Sunday night, a whole week after starting these, I was like, oh, I should probably go check those. They probably all dried out and died because I forgot about them. Thankfully, they did not dry out and die. They were still pretty moist. The tops were just starting to dry out, but overall, they were doing pretty good still. And the tomatoes, I think all, or at least most of the tomatoes had already germinated, and with no lights, God started getting pretty leggy. So I immediately lowered these lights and got them turned on. But let me go ahead and show you what we're looking at here. And yeah, so that's the next step. Once your plants germinate, you want to turn on your grow lights. Honestly, all of the different light temperatures and numbers and letters, I find it all extremely confusing. So you'll want to do a little bit of research on that. I don't feel adequately knowledgeable enough to tell you this is the kind that you need and the best kind, but you do really need a grow light versus just a regular light bulb because they are different. I've done it with clamp lights and LED bulbs. It sort of worked. These work better. So you can get grow lights anywhere now. They're really not that expensive anymore. So get yourself some real grow lights. Once your plants have germinated and you see green, that's when photosynthesis starts taking place. So you'll want to turn on your lights and get them as close to the plants as you can. You only want them just like 2 inches above the tops of the plants. These ones with chains are really nice because I can raise them higher as the plants get taller. These ones that are tied on with yarn, not as easy. But anyways, get them on, get them close to the plants so that they can start growing nice and lush the way you want them. See all of our little greens popping up over there? See how tall they are? Yeah, we don't want them to be that tall. When they get really long and stringy like that, that's called being leggy. It means they're reaching for light, trying to find light. And as I said, the grow lights were not on, so these guys were going to be reaching for a while. But yeah, now that we have the grow lights on, they will stop stretching so far, and we'll start getting stronger, thicker stems, and eventually start bushing out. So yeah, lots of green in this tray. I think this one's mostly peppers. They take longer to germinate. And then there's some more over here. I think I actually saw, yeah, some of the herbs over here have started germinating as well, but I didn't label them, so I don't know which ones they were. Oops. Hello there. Welcome to the garage, where I have this lovely box that came in the mail yesterday. All the plants. Let me show you what I have, and then I will kind of show you where we're going to be putting them, hopefully. So, first things first. I have 2 sets. What are there? 12 each of these, I think. And these are asparagus. So, I've never planted asparagus before. I love to eat asparagus. Honestly, planting them has always been a little intimidating for me, and I never knew where to put them. But I decided to just do it. Jump in out of your comfort zone and just do it. Otherwise, you just keep putting it up and never get around to it. So, we have asparagus, and these are supposed to be good in clay soil, which we definitely have. So, hoping those do well. Next up, I don't really love how these were packaged, but I have 2 lingonberries. Last year, I ordered a bunch of lingonberries and blueberries, and they actually ended up sending me, ooh, that has a hole in it. They actually ended up sending me double what I ordered, and then all of them but one died. And they never responded to my emails, so I never got my money back or anything, which really stinks. So I got these from a different company. There wasn't really options for what varieties I wanted, so I just went with the one they had. But so hopefully these will be okay to cross-pollinate with the one that we have left from last year, and then we'll be able to have some lingonberries in the future. Let's see, next up, a grapevine. I do have 1 grapevine. I was wanting to get another one last year at the end of the season. Never made it out to the nursery. So we have a grapevine. This is a green Neptune. Next up is a gooseberry that got broken in shipping. Hopefully that's not a big deal. I forgot to mention it yesterday when I called them, which I'll tell you about in a minute here. But yeah, gooseberry, because it sounds fun. And honestly, I don't remember where I had planned to put it, so I have to find a home for that. So I ordered a dwarf cherry tree, and this is what I got. And there was a little note on my invoice that said, oh, sorry, we had a crop issue, so we didn't have the size that you ordered, so instead we sent you 2 really dinky small ones instead. So hopefully they survive and grow to produce lots of cherries and we don't have any issues. And last but not least, the reason I had to call them after opening this package. These are blackberries. I didn't order blackberries. I ordered gold raspberries. I already have lots of blackberries. So no, I had to find a place to put them. So that'll be fun. But I did call them, told them, hey, you messed up my order, and they are sending those gold raspberries as soon as they can. But yes, now I also have 2 blackberry plants that I need to find homes for. So it's kind of cold out. It's only like 40 degrees today, but I don't want to keep these in the box any longer than I have to because I don't want them to die. So I guess I'm going to be going out and planting in the cold. Yay. But I'm going to show you kind of what's going on with our edible landscaping out here on the front thus far. And then I'll show you where I'm planning to put all of these lovely baby plants. All right, welcome to the front yard. This is my bedroom window here. So this area right here, I cleared out mostly everything that was here 2 summers ago, I think. Obviously, lots of weeds have grown back because I never actually put anything in there. The only thing I left was this catmint over here. This gets really huge. The bees love it, but that's the only thing here. And so I'm going to move it out of the way. And when those golden raspberries come in, I was going to put them here. Like I said, I don't remember where I had planned to put the gooseberry, so I don't know, maybe on the other side of the hose here, you know, closer towards this, my herb garden, going this way in front of the house. I don't know, so I gotta find a place for that. But the golden raspberries I'm planning to put here. Now if we come over here, there's also a lot of space over here underneath this lilac tree that is not being used at the moment. I have a couple of pots that I put my mint in to kind of keep it contained, and that black one at the end there had horseradish. I'm not sure if it's going to come back or not. We'll see. Again, didn't know where to put it, and that was to kind of keep it contained until I made a decision. But other than that, it's just like lamb's ear and really annoying vines and stuff in here, ivy that just needs to be cleared out. So I have this space to work with. I just have to decide what to do with it. And then of course over in front of the porch is all of my regular herb garden. So this is the extension of that bed where I'm going to be putting those raspberries, and then I don't know, maybe the gooseberry, not sure. If we come over here to the north side of the house, over here towards the backyard, we've got this lovely forsythia growing here. This area I would like to make a little bit nicer here. I was going to put the cherry tree right here in the middle. Now there are 2, so I guess I'll be putting 2 cherry trees here. And I'm going to underplant them with some daisies, sweet alyssum, some different herbs to help attract pollinators as well as prevent other pests and diseases. So making little guilds here for those. Over here by this arch here, right there, see, arch. On this side of it, I have my other grapevine. I put it in the ground for the first time last year. It was in a pot before that. So we'll see how it does. If it comes back. Every year I think it's dead, but then it eventually comes back. It didn't do great last year though. So we will see. But I was going to put the other grape on the other side of this trellis so they can climb on the fence as well as on this. No, it's not a trellis. What is that called? Archway, arbor, whatever. So that'll be for the grapes. I would like to put more flowers over here, maybe. Maybe like this berry can go over here. So yeah, this area will look nice and lovely and beautiful at some point, eventually, when we get there. And then over here along this tree line is where I had planned to put the asparagus. So, because I honestly don't know where else to put it, but I want asparagus. I love asparagus. So that's where I decided to put it. We'll see how it does. If we come, let's see, let's go back up here to the front yard, up towards the road. Through here, we just cleared out a lot of brush that was kind of encroaching on the yard here. So hopefully we'll be able to push that back, reclaim a little bit of lawn in this area, and maybe do something else there eventually. This is where my elderberries are, my 2 big ones. I actually just pruned them back, so you can't actually see them right now. They're completely chopped down. I did save about a dozen cuttings from them that I can also put other places. But if we keep coming over here, I have my wild roses here that I harvested tips from this year. Okay, and then if we get over here to the apple trees. Let me turn the camera around so you can kind of see the whole thing that we got going on right now. Okay, so these are our 2 apple trees here. This one here is a red Rome, and that one is a Roxbury russet. You can see we have sort of fencing around them to keep the deer out. but those do definitely need to be upgraded. For one, they're a bit of an eyesore, and two, they're kind of falling down. So we have our apple trees here. They have alliums under them, daffodils under them, which I'm hoping will multiply and make more daffodils because I need more daffodils in my life. So we have those underplanted. There's actually some wild blackberries that decided to sprout up here, and lots of weeds that are around the fences that need to be taken out. It grows up through the fence and gets really difficult to pull, but we just need to take those fences down, clear out all of those weeds, and really heavily mulch those again. Probably give them some goat poop and stuff too to feed those. So we have these two apple trees. I'm hoping to this summer, we'll see if we get to it, just put a little section of fence here between them and then plant that with cut flowers, because I just think that'll be beautiful right there. Just a rustic wood fence section with flowers all over. Okay, and then as we go further this way to the left, here we have our blueberries and lingonberries, and then over there is that peach tree that we transplanted this winter. So they're still pretty dormant, but this is the only blueberry that survived from last year that we ordered, and I think it's still alive. Green growth and some buds, so at least this side is still alive. This one looks like it might be starting to get little buds on it. So this one may be still alive, hopefully. And then in the fall, we purchased this one and that one over there from a local nursery. I think the deer or the rabbits have eaten them over winter because they totally got chopped down, but they do have like these little microscopic buds starting to pop up. So I think they're still alive, and hopefully they'll get a lot of growth this year and then be really vigorous and healthy and produce. So those are blueberries, and then this is our one remaining lingonberry right here. So really tiny, not much to show. So we will add the other lingonberries here in front, and then this will be our little berry patch right here. I don't know, we may add some cranberries at some point too. We'll see how these do. And then of course over here is our peach tree. And it is doing really well. It's starting to get little leaves on it. It's doing really, really good. So high hopes for this. So that's what we have going so far with our edible landscaping. As I kind of indicated, we're hoping to build on, add to, and continue to improve it, make it look prettier, make it produce more over time. But those are the plans for this year with the plants that I currently have. I do have to find a home for those blackberries now. So I don't know where I'm going to put those. But and then that gooseberry, I have to remember, I had a plan for it before I ordered it, but I don't remember what that plan was. So, but anyways, it's actually with the sun out, it doesn't feel that terrible out here. So I'm gonna go ahead and start planting those before I need to go make dinner.